"And how did this dispatch reach you?" inquired the king. The minister bowed his head, and while a deep color overspread his cheeks, he stammered out, "By the telegraph, sire." Louis XVIII advanced a step, then folded his arms over his chest as Napoleon would have done. "So then," he exclaimed, turning pale with anger, 7 conjoined and allied armies overthrew that man. A miracle of heaven replaced me on the throne of my fathers after 25 years of exile. I have, during those 25 years, spared no pains to understand the people of France and the interests which were confided to me. And now, when I see the fruition of my wishes almost within reach, the power I hold in my hands bursts and shatters me to atoms." "Sire, it is a fatality," murmured the minister, feeling the pressure of circumstances. However light a thing to destiny was too much for any human strength to endure. "What our enemies say of us is then true. We have learnt nothing, forgotten nothing. If I were betrayed as he was, I would console myself. But to be in the midst of persons elevated by myself to places of honor who ought to watch over me more carefully than over themselves, for my fortune is theirs. Before me they were nothing. After me they will be nothing and perish miserably from incapacity, ineptitude. Oh yes, sir, you are right. It is fatality." The minister quailed before this outburst of sarcasm. Monsieur de Blacas wiped the moisture from his brow. Villefort smiled within himself, for he felt his increased importance. Well, that last sentence there just confirmed what we talked about over the last 2 episodes. Villefort smiling within himself, feeling his importance within the king's eyes increased. So that's interesting. Okay, what do we think Villefort's position's going to be moving forward? Is he going to move from Marseille into the king's palace and work directly with him moving forward? Is that what he wants? Maybe. What about Renee? He's about to get married. Do you think he's gonna go back to that after this? Bring her up here? Maybe. The de Saint-Marans are highly valued and respected among the monarchy, so that's quite possible. But the king's outburst here, just decimating the room of their confidence. Have you ever worked for someone who has just taken it out on their employees? I have. But he's talking about the 25 years in exile, not exile the way that Napoleon was exiled to Elba, but dethroned, let's say. That time that Napoleon... Remember that time Napoleon named himself emperor and completely undid the monarchy? Yeah, he's talking about that time when the throne was kind of taken away from him, and he and his family had to leave the palace, had to leave Paris. This is all indicating a much deeper history about the era of the French Revolution, and I'm not an expert. I'm not going to go into it all here, but, there was the uprising. There was a thing called the Terror. We heard about Robespierre before in this book, who called for the king's death, among many others, Marie Antoinette, etc., etc. The guillotine, that sort of stuff. That was the Terror. Lots of people died. And it gave space for Napoleon to be able to rise in the ranks, claim power, and eventually, conquer lands and call himself emperor, overthrow the monarchy, etc. So that is what Louis is railing against here. After all of that, they were able to restore the monarchy, and now he's like, I have these idiots working for me who can't even protect me more than they can protect themselves. Jesus Christ, didn't we just go through this? Anyway, I don't really feel for the king here, but I don't really feel for Bonaparte either. I don't know. This is just a complicated part of political history that I struggle to really wrap my head around. I'm not going to lie to you. But let's just keep going, shall we? We have a lot of chapter left to cover. We will meet you here for more of chapter 11 tomorrow. I'll see you then. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.